right. Hey there. Good morning, everybody. It's just after 11 a.m. Central Standard Time here on Friday, the 14th of February, 2025. Happy Valentine's Day to those who partake. It's great to see y'all joining in, as always, every week here. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up, hit the like, hit the subscribe, guys. Follow me, leave a comment, share the video, guys. Share the link. All right. Get it out there, do it. I spend an hour and a half up here. I share, trading knowledge and stuff that I've learned over the last 30 years. I don't think it's really that much to ask that you kind of do a little sharing of your own there with the link, right? I don't know. I think today a lot of people are just out there interested in just getting things for free and not really doing much of anything else. And unfortunately, that makes a lot of content feel to them more productized, commoditized, and you don't feel like you don't really pay as much attention because you don't get that same feeling of like you're really getting something. I mean, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I'm the one guy out here who isn't going to blow smoke up your rear end. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. I'm going to tell you what you need to hear if you really want to be a trader, if you really want to be in the markets, because that's the only right thing to do. If I'm out here just telling you what you want to hear, what the hell are you going to learn? You're not going to learn anything, right? So anyway, hopefully you guys are doing all that. Like I said, hit the thumbs up, the like, subscribe, follow, share the link, leave a comment, all that great stuff. Okay. Alvin, man, I love you, buddy. Yeah. He says, all these free sessions, maybe join TWC, best decision. Alvin, did a great, testimonial video for us on his own. I didn't ask. He just one day just put it in there, right? We've got this testimonial.texaswestcapital.com page where you can see a lot of different, comments that have been left, by students, former students, and current students and whatnot. And Alvin is so far the first and only person to leave a video comment, which was pretty cool. But anyway, so today, what we're going to talk about is, here's the thing. I hear a lot of whining. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm a Gen Xer, man. I don't mince words. It's a lot of whining going on online. Oh my God, alt season is not here. When's it ever going to come? It's never going to come. Oh, my alts are down 50% or 80%. Okay, so if your alts are down 50 or 80%, then that first tells me, one, you likely jumped in without any clue what the hell you're doing. And I'll be honest with you, this isn't to be mean to you. This is to be matter of fact. I have no sympathy for that. You're an adult. If you're jumping into something with your hard-earned money without understanding what you're doing, that is 100% on you. Does that make sense, guys? And the reason why I say this is because in this day and age, there is so little accountability. Society, government, everything makes it so it seems like it's okay not to be accountable. It's always somebody else's fault, right? The problem with it always being somebody else's fault is that it's not your fault. And if it's not your fault, guess what? You can't change the things, the bad mistakes, the bad choices you've been making that are leading you to these ends that you don't like. You can't possibly change them if you refuse to admit where your fault is in it. See what I'm saying? You cannot create success playing the victim. In trading and in life, you cannot get further ahead by constantly dwelling on the past. Does this make sense? It has to make sense if you want to be successful as a trader. And I've had people on on Twitter, X there, and they get all upset because I don't just share free charts all day, every day. Well, first of all, I've got 30 years of losing money and making money to get to the point I'm at. Why would I do that for free all the time? Why would I just do all that for free? This doesn't make any sense. Two, listen up, folks. And so the thing, well, let me finish what I'm saying there. So the gift said, I'm not doing that. And they're like, oh, well, stop with all the life stuff, blah, blah, blah. Just tell me the chart. See, that's the problem. That's exactly the problem. That's the reason why you're losing money, because you don't listen to the life stuff. You don't listen to the mental stuff, the emotional stuff, the psychological stuff. That's the stuff that's going to determine whether or not you're successful. not a strategy, not a chart. Because I'll tell you what, you can know all the rules of a system and you can have the chart given to you with clear entry, stop loss, and take profit targets. And unless your head is in the right place, unless your emotions, you understand the emotional side of it and the proper risk management and the psychological side of this whole trading thing, I guarantee that 8 times out of 10, you're not going to follow. You're not going to follow the rules. You won't. You can't. So it always makes me chuckle when somebody says something like that, because it's like, well, they will never, until they change their understanding of what's going on, they'll never kind of get to that point they need to get to, so that they can be successful one day. And isn't that the goal? Isn't that why we're here? To be successful, to make money? I mean, if you're not in the market to make money, what the hell? Take your money elsewhere. Don't lose it in the market. There's more than enough people out here that are going to lose it for you. And I and other professionals out there are more than happy, Fibbo, we're more than happy to take your money. It's nothing personal, but it's this thing we're doing, right? We're adults playing an adult game, right? Your wins, your losses, all that. Nobody to blame but yourself. But the good thing is, once you recognize that, now you can go back and say, okay, where did I make my mistakes? Now I can correct them so I don't make them again. Some of y'all get so stuck up, many of y'all get so stuck up in creating the same situation for yourself over and over again. And I guarantee if you're doing it in trading, it's not just in trading. I guarantee it's in your relationships, it's in your job, it's in everything you're doing. Because you cannot be one way in one area of your life and another way in a different area of your life. Your brain doesn't work like that. Okay? That creates cognitive dissonance. It doesn't work. All right. So, this is the beginning of the understanding. And if you can get to this point, right, then you can understand what I'm about to talk about with the rest of this show here. Now, here at the beginning, I see somebody's comment here at the beginning says, he says the very moment Bitcoin dominance is breaking down, alt season started. I don't know who you're talking about. I assume you're talking about me, but if you are, then you haven't been paying attention, because I'm the guy out there telling you, listen, the Bitcoin dominance chart may not be the thing it used to be as far as alt season, because we have all the other Bitcoin buying going on by ETFs. I've been saying for over a year now, since January of last year, that we may not really get an alt season that you're used to. We may just instead get alts rallying alongside Bitcoin, because the buyers of the ETFs are different than your normal crypto bros that cycle through, Bitcoin and then large caps, mid caps, small caps, micros, and then back up to Bitcoin. Does that make sense? So I think they're talking to me, but clearly they don't know me, right? Because I expect Bitcoin dominance to continue higher. But again, the title of the show here, right? What's the title of the show? Excuse me, got some in my throat here. The title of the show is Sitting Around Waiting for Alt Season is Costing You a Lot in Profits. Let me show you. That's what we're going to talk about. And if you've gotten through the first part of the show so far with an open mind, and you're going, you know what, maybe he's right. Maybe I need to stop blaming the things I don't like happening in my life on everybody else. Maybe I need to start taking some responsibility for that. If you can get to that point, it's going to make the rest of this a lot easier to understand. Okay? Excuse me. Roy says, I am so new to the game, I don't know what alt season is. You're better off for it, Roy. You're better off, for it. He says, I'm just trying to trade channels. And that's a fantastic way to start. It's a little clunky, which is fine. If you're brand new, you shouldn't be looking at finesse. You should be looking at clunky ways to trade. Clunky ways that you are more likely to make money than not make money. You're not going to get the absolute low. You're not going to get the absolute high. You're just trying to get some confirmed mid movement of that trend. Okay. So I love it, Roy. I mean, if that's what it is, man, you're lucky. You ain't dealing with all the other nonsense because everybody else is sitting here whining about alt season. Why isn't alt season yet? When's alt season going to come? Oh, I'm down 80%. Well, we're going to take a look at that. All right, guys. So let's start with this. So we're going to pull up this cryptobubbles.net here, right? We've looked at this before. And as you'll see here, you have your yearly. So since the beginning of the year, the alt market is green. This month, it's a little red. This week, it's green. This day, it's green. This hour, it's green. Look at this, though. We're green. Everybody's complaining about it, right? So this is the weekly. You see how the weekly's lit up there? And on the weekly here, you can see things like Cake, which is up 78% on the week. Litecoin's up almost 22%. Hex is up 43%. Ultima is up 22.5%. SPX up at 38.5%. Trump coin, I posted that this morning. If y'all are in the Trading Academy, you'll know earlier this month we were talking about a likely reversal happening around that daily S1 pivot. And that's where we got it. So Andrew, one of our head traders out there saying, I brought up Trump last night. Trump pumping 25%. I love it, Andrew. I love it. JTO up here, almost 31%. Tau up 22%, right? This is just on the weekly. For this year, though, look at this. Virtual up 2,700%. SPX up 34,854%. XCN up almost 1,200%. Pepe up 740%. BGB 641. XRP 407. 407%, right? So we're going to show you some other charts here, but you should already be looking at this going, well, crap, everybody's talking about their stuff being down. So one of two things is happening. Okay? Either you're buying the crap of the crap, which I'm sure a lot of you are, right? Why? Because it's low price. You think, man, I don't want to buy any Bitcoin because I have $1,000 and $1,000 is not going to get me a whole Bitcoin. It's going to give me maybe, just over 1% of a Bitcoin. That makes me poor. But I'm going to buy 10 billion tokens of shitcoin plus, and I'm going to feel rich because I have 10 billion of them at 3,000th of a cent or something. Right? This is the way many of y'all think. Are you seeing the issue here? And yet Bitcoin is the least risky to buy. It's the one most likely to make you money consistently, right? But you hope, hey, I can get in on a really low crap shitcoin, and it's going to propel me to a millionaire next week, next month. And all will be right in the world. But the problem with that is, first of all, even if you somehow, out of the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of crap out there, you pick the one that goes up high enough to do something like that, the odds are almost guaranteed that you will be out well before it ever gets there. You might get out on a 1 or 2x, and that's it. And then you'll lament later about how you were in it and you should have held because it went up to 10,000x and you got out at 2x. This is what's going on. This is what's going on. Yet you continue to do that thing. Why? And why is that bad? Because what it does is that regret ends up fueling the negativity about what's going on with alts, or what you believe is going on with alts. Again, You're sitting here whining about alt season not being here yet and all these things, waiting for it, and you're missing all the opportunities that are in front of you. Let's go to the daily, just the last day. Look at this. Trump, 35.6%. SPX up almost 20%. XRP up 12.4%. Jupiter here up 16.8%. Bonk up 10%. Injective up 3.4%. Here's the truth, guys. If you're using proper risk management the way I teach it, and you're able to get 2% every 3 days or so, you're going to double your account multiple times over by the end of the year. Multiple times. Just by getting 2% every 3 days or so. That's 10 trades a month. That's it. And when you start understanding that, then you go, okay, now I don't have to be in every damn trade every day or try to be. Now I can look for the trades that are most likely to be successful for me. I don't have to get into one that's kind of iffy and I just hope it's going to go up. But your time preference is so short that you can't get out of your own way because you're emotional. And you go back to, alts suck, alts are dying, oh, I'm losing all this money on alts. And again, if you were down 50 to 80% on an alt and you're not looking for like a multi-year hold on that, what the hell are you doing down 50, 80%? That is 100, 1000% on you because you don't understand how to trade. You just jumped in at the top, hoping it would go up and got caught again. And then you held it as it continued to go down. You didn't get out like you should have. That is on you. See, this is the part of the stream where I usually start losing a lot of viewers because nobody wants to be an adult. Nobody wants to sit there and go, yeah, exactly right. I screwed it up. It's always everybody else's fault. It's always what news came out that made it fall. And the person who did that news or leaked that news, it's their fault. No, it's your fault. This is an accountability stream, folks. And if you have trouble being accountable to yourself, you're going to have a lot of trouble, not just in trading, but I guarantee you have a lot of trouble in life. I have no doubt you do. And again, this isn't me being mean. This is me pointing out the realities that you are probably ignoring. But I can't force you to see them. I can't force you to accept them. I can't force you to do the things you need to do to get where you say you want to go. Okay? I don't filter. Well, it's got this question here. What is your filtering process for entering in the beta markets when Bitcoin isn't presenting an opportunity to trade? Do you filter by liquidity or volatility? Thanks. I was going to say immediately, I don't filter by liquidity, but I do generally tend to. I tend to stay out of very low liquid nonsense. There's no reason to get into it. A lot of times people get into that and then they'll get stuck in it because there's not enough liquidity for them to get out when they want to get out. Right? So I filter, that part. I'm making sure that there's, sufficient liquidity to begin with. But other than that, it's completely chart-based, guys. Why? Because the charts tell us, the markets are the fastest way to know how people are feeling. If they're feeling safe and secure and whatnot, they're willing to put money into risk, which means money's going to enter the market. When people are feeling concerned or worried or, kind of not sure, they're going to stop putting money in the market. They may even start pulling money out of the market. Go risk off, right? So the quickest way you understand how the market is feeling is by whether they're putting money in or pulling money out of the market. And once you understand that, you can use tools like Wyckoff and Elliott wave theory to understand that price action has a form to it. It is not random. It tends to follow a specific structure. General kind of structure, right? It's not going to be exactly the same. but it follows a specific type of structure. And when you understand that, on top of what the other stuff we talk about, then all of a sudden you start getting an understanding of what's going on. Is price pulling back? Is it going to go forward? Where can I start looking for targets? How can I forecast that price action? Why did you jump in at the top here and then hold on at a 50 or 80% loss on your little alts? Because you didn't know what you were doing. You didn't understand that structure. You didn't understand that price is forecastable, that price action is forecastable, right? You didn't understand that price action, even that which is programmed into your algorithms, right, is based on the way in which humans act and react at specific levels and certain movements, certain bits of movement, and certain patterns that form at those areas, right? Yeah, Andrew says, wait, I thought we should trade CZ's dog's name. Ha ha ha. Yeah. Yep, that's another good point in there, right? Why would we trade based on that nonsense? Because it's got to go up. Well, you hope it does, and maybe it does. But to where? How long do you hold? When do you get out? I don't know. Exactly. Exactly. Trading should not be something that you do to get a dopamine hit. Most people that say they're traders are gamblers at best, and really poor gamblers. Very, very poor gamblers, right? But they come in here and they masquerade as traders. Oh, I'm a trader. I'm a trader. And they'll probably, most of the time, they'll even throw on the little moniker of being a degen, right? A degenerate trader. Oh, yeah, that's so sexy. It's so hot. Yeah, I know it's sexy and hot to lose money constantly, right? Get out of my stream, right? If that's the way you feel, look at the silliness. That's why you're losing money. Well, one of the reasons. Okay. Have you had any successful traders in your group that are using a funded account? And is it generally a better idea than using your own capital if you practice risk management well? We do have some funded traders. Yeah, we do. I don't tend to keep up with a whole lot. I just know of a few of them that have mentioned that they got funded. They showed me their thing because they were excited, and I was excited for them. But is it better? I don't know that it's better necessarily, because you got to understand, funded accounts have a lot of rules, and those rules are meant to trip you up, right? And a lot of funded accounts are going to be BS. You're going to run into payment problems and issues and stuff like that. But if you can understand proper risk management, and you can understand what I was talking about earlier about emotions and psychology, you've got a real good chance of making some money on those funded accounts. It's very possible, but you have to understand that the end all be all to that is going to be risk management. And most of y'all don't want to spend that much time thinking about or doing risk management. But I tell you all the time, the only thing you control in the markets is how much you lose, which means risk management is the most important thing you do every day, every trade. And yet it's the one thing that most traders don't want to do because it's boring. Because if they do proper risk management, then that means, oh my God, if I do that, that means I'm going to not be able to make all this money I want to because I can't put in my full account on 100 times leverage on this trade. Right? So, yeah, you can definitely make money with funded accounts, but it's not as simple as what some people try to make it out there to seem. And it's absolutely risk management, proper risk management is absolutely imperative. But even when you do that, sometimes, a lot of times, unfortunately, with some of these companies, they're going to withhold payments or they're going to go out of business and can't pay you. Because the prop firm generally, the industry is based on your fees that you pay. And then you go into simulated accounts. Very rarely do you actually get to do live accounts, right? And only if you're showing consistently profitable trades, they end up copying your accounts to live accounts for themselves to make some money off that as well. But most of the money that comes in through prop firms is going to come in through the fees associated with it. The fees you take to do the test, the fees you pay monthly, whatever, if there's some of that. Again, that doesn't mean you can't make money with them. And you can make a lot of money with them as long as they're willing to pay you. But if you don't like doing risk management, proper risk management on every single trade, every time you're trading anyway, don't get in there and do that because it's just going to be a waste of money. Okay? So if you mechanically trade a reliable setup over time and find it to be profitable, when do you choose a point in the journey where you increase your size? What do you mean where you increase your size? If you're using proper risk management, your position size is based on what you're willing to lose, right? What you're willing to lose should never increase if you want consistency. But if you've got a reliable system, then your account balance is building up, which means you're taking larger position size, which means you're making more profits, utilizing the same risk management, utilizing the same percentage of loss that you're willing to take. Okay. There are no regulated funded accounts. There is no regulation for prop firm funded accounts at all. Okay. Yeah. So, but yes, you can go out there, you can do it, but don't, you have to do your homework on which one you get involved with. There are some very large level prop firms that you probably don't even hear about because they're not these ones that you see every day. They're the professional prop firms. And they're what you're more interested in, but there's really difficult to get their attention. But there are some inroads depending on, what you're trading throughout the year, who you're trading with, stuff like that. But yeah. So anyway, so this is the beginning, right? This is the beginning of the understanding. Okay. You have to understand that the reason you're feeling so bad about alts is because, one, you're emotionally making your decisions. Two, you're not using proper risk management. Three, that you're just looking for that alt season, and it not being here is exasperating all the other negative things you're feeling, right? Let's jump into some charts, guys. Let me find them up here real quick. I've got to share that screen now. All right. So this is Trump coin, right? Oh, you can't see it. Now you can. All right. This is Trump coin. This S1 pivot here on the daily, this is what we were talking about earlier this month as a likely reversal point, as a likely rally area, which is what we've got. Okay. Now obviously, this is not the full Trump coin chart, right? This is Coinbase. So we get it from there, we get the move down. But nonetheless, we got the move down, we're getting the rally up here, right? Now, if you know what you're doing with Elliott wave, right? You can sit here and you can go, well, this looks like 5 waves down here. This looks like 5 wave down, maybe like a 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So like an ending diagonal here for wave 5. Ends up in a doji, a little bit of a volume there, pops up, pulls back, retest on lower volume than what we had here. Boom up, starts clearing the path, and then today up there. Now, this is all, I mean, you might go there and go, what the hell are you talking about, Chris? This is stuff we teach all day, every day at the Trading Academy. By the way, guys, listen, since I was out sick this weekend and all the way, I didn't get back until Wednesday. If you're in the Academy, don't forget our normal Monday Wyckoff class. I rescheduled for today at 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. So that's in about 3.5 hours. So make sure you guys show up live for that. Or as always, they're recorded and you can watch a recording later, and feel free to ask questions after that, of course, with that. So anyway, this is a good move here, right? Now I've just got that because, okay, there it was. But let's start talking about what you're upset about. Here's the others chart. Okay, I've shared this before. Maybe if TradingView will pull it up here. Oh, what's going on here? See if we can get to show up. Give me just a minute, folks. There we go. All right. Now I'm kind of looking at it, potentially something around like this, right? Most importantly on this is a three-wave pullback with a triangle at the second wave. Right there at the weekly pivot. Let's drop down there, okay? We've got a pullback of just beyond 61.8% on this rally up here. Stochastic RSI is reset down and oversold. RSI pulling back toward the neutral area and looking to rally back up through the bullish side of neutral there. Head up, okay? So we got a lot of setup on here. Others is all the altcoins outside the top 10. All right? So it's not Bitcoin, it's not Ethereum, you know, stuff like that. Everything outside the alt 10, that's what the others chart is here. This isn't the others dominance chart, it's the others chart, just the others, okay? It's not, quote, it's not trying to show you dominance here. It's just showing you, hey, this is kind of where we're at in terms of this. All right? Now, minimally, like I said, this is the count that I've got kind of sitting here right now. You know, maybe it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, or maybe even a 4 is running flat here, and we got a 5 coming up. Worst case scenario, we'd be looking at some movement up here based on the height of this. Up here around 800 and almost 72 billion. Minimally. That's where we should be looking minimally, okay? But that means higher highs for alts, right? This is the weekly candle. This was last week's candle. Alts dipped, closed back up, okay? Right to support here. Makes all the sense in the world. So generally speaking, alts have pulled back since December into the end of January, the very beginning of February, and they're bouncing now. People are like, oh, alts are down 80%. Well, 80% from right here. Where was it before here? It was down here. So alts had already rallied right here from August to December of last year. Had already rallied almost 200%. And this is just the alts in general, alts overall, all right? And then from that, off that high, we got a pullback of about 51%. But it had already rallied 200%. And prior to that, it came down from March into August. But before that, it was down here in December of 22. Alts rallied December of 22 all the way up until March of 24. Stop listening to the nonsense online. Stop listening to what people just like you are saying out there, but they've got a lot of followers. Who cares how many followers they have? Most of the time, people follow these large accounts because they're train wrecks. Whether it be personal life that they're putting all over it or whether it's they're trading, right? So this is generally what we're looking at. Now let's look at some specifics. Here's another chart I posted. This is WIF, USDT here. Pull back right into the low volume node. This is the daily chart. Look at this nice daily candle popping up here. We're just getting going. Look at the volume as we got down to this last push. Now look, no volume, no volume, no volume, tiny little bit of volume, no volume. And then the volume starts picking up here. And the lower we get down, the more the volume starts picking up right around this area. That's what you want to see. That's demand showing up. This is the weekly fair value gap. As I show you here, we are in the discount zone. If you guys know anything about that, okay? In terms of counts, so it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like a 1 with a flat. 3 waves down, 3 waves up, 5 waves down here. This has come down since November, okay? Now your December, it kind of came down a little bit and bounced back up for December and then came down here, right? So this has been a move down, but what did it do prior? So off this swing high up here, even if you go back to November, right? Oh my God, it's down 88%. Oh my God, it rallied 7,300% before it ever did that. Do you see what I'm saying here? Everybody's like, oh, basically since December, oh, I'm down 80%. Because you bought up here without knowing what the hell you're doing. And now you're crying about it down here because you didn't get the hell out, because you didn't know what you were doing. It's everybody else's fault though, right? This thing rallied 7,300%. But you bought up here, so you're upset it's dropped 88% since you bought. And you've held. Now, you keep holding, the odds are likely the discount's going to be probably correct and it's going to break out higher. You just have to hold longer, right? No guarantees in trading, though. There are no guarantees. Listen, the only guarantee in trading is that you're going to lose money from time to time, no matter how long you've been doing this. But the newer you are, the more money you're going to lose, and the more often you're going to lose it because you haven't figured out proper risk management. You don't use it consistently. You still trade emotionally. Once you overcome all that, though, you've got a chance to actually be a trader, like a real trader. Guys, I'm going to tell you what, if you come in here and you're throwing money in the market for 2 or 3, 5 years, and you're not ahead, you're not a trader. You are not a trader yet. And I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but we need to be realistic about these things. We need to be realistic about it, because as long as you continue to lie to yourself, you're not going to figure out what you need to figure out so that you can become a trader. You cannot call yourself a trader just because you're in the market putting money in and losing it consistently. You're not a trader. Like I said, you're a gambler at best, and a pretty awful gambler. Vipaswani says you are a giver, not a trader. Yes. And again, we say this as two guys that have been in, for 20 to 30 years, depending on which ones you're talking about here, right? 25, 30 years. So, between the both of us, we've got over 50 years of experience. Nothing we say is ever to talk down to you or to make you, or to like purposely just hurt your feelings or hurt your feelings. The things we say are to try to get your attention so you stop lying to yourself, because we can't change anything that you're doing. Only you can change, but you can't change as long as you continue to lie to yourself. You have to accept that responsibility. Vipaswani says, I'm still good looking. I appreciate him for that. I think he meant both of us, but I'm going to take it as he meant me because it's Valentine's Day. Christopher Campbell says, I blew up 3 to 4 accounts before I stopped lying to myself. It's tough. It's tough, guys. I'm not here telling you that it's easy. I tell you all the time, trading is simple, but it's not easy. And anybody telling you otherwise is lying to you. And why are they lying to you? Because one, they want you to believe that they're really great. Or two, they want you to buy something and they don't care whether you're successful or not. They don't care about the churn. They just want to keep selling. If you tell a wide enough swath of people exactly what they want to hear, they will fund you. They will continue to buy your crap. People always say, man, this is the first time being here. I don't understand why you don't have more followers. I don't understand why you don't have more views. I don't understand why you don't have tens of thousands of people in the training camp. And it's precisely because of what I'm telling you, because I'm not telling you what you want to hear. I'm not here telling you, oh, it's going to be all right. You didn't do anything wrong. It was that mean, bad person over there. It's their fault that you lost your money. I'm not going to blow that smoke up your rear end. It doesn't help you. Life as a trader, as a real trader, somebody who consistently makes money over time, doesn't mean you win every trade, but you win money over time. That life is pretty freaking amazing. Because even when you lose, because you understand trading as a process, you understand trading as the game that it is, you understand proper risk management, you utilize it constantly, your equity curve looks like this. It continues to go up, even when you have losses along the way. Overall, it continues to go up. Most traders, most of y'all that call yourselves traders out there, your accounts look like this, right? Or at best, maybe this, maybe some sideways. But when you become a trader, when you understand these things I'm talking about and you implement them regularly, your equity curve can't help but to continue to move upward over time. And that's the goal. That should be what you're looking for. Not to get rich overnight. It doesn't matter what the one single trade you're doing is. And yet y'all focus on the current trade you're on, the one trade. You focus on that one trade rather than the system that you should be implementing over and over and over again. It's the system. It's the focus on the system that brings you profits over time. If you're focused on the individual trade you're on at the moment, all but guarantee that you're going to lose most of those trades. Does that make sense? Roy says, I made my first trade in July. Man, it's a crazy feeling, isn't it? It's a crazy feeling. Yeah. To do that. Let me see here. So, again, guys, if you're out there and you think a big following or a lot of views or something means that the content is valuable, you're mistaken. Most of the time, it just means the content is telling people what they want to hear. That's what in life, we tend to search those things out. Think about any kind of beliefs that you hold. You kind of tend to look for that, right? If you're looking for information online about whatever it is that has to do with it, you're looking for that stuff that kind of supports what you believe, right? Yeah. It's life. It's craziness. But it's why we're human. It's what makes us human. But we have to recognize that so that we can put a plan into place. Why a plan? Because if we're trying to do things off the hip, if we're trying to do it off the cuff, if we're shooting off the hip, right, the odds are we're going to screw it up because emotions are involved. But if you have a written out plan on how to handle a situation and you train that constantly, guess what? When that situation arises, it becomes easier to actually follow that plan. Why do you think the military has all these different plans in place for all these different things that could happen? Right? And military trains its recruits in these things over and over and over again. So they don't get emotional about it. They just do what they're supposed to do at that time that they're supposed to do it. Okay? These are the things that make the difference of whether you're going to be successful or not. Not just me giving you some chart. Okay? Let's look at another chart here. Let's look at SUI here. I'm going to have to keep reloading these, it looks like. FTM. Well, let's look at FTM while we're here. FTM. Since December, mid-December. all the way down until beginning of February. So about a month and a half, down 78.5%. Yeah. Prior to that, right prior to that, it rallied 460, almost 463%. So if you got in anywhere along this way, you were able to lock in a lot of profit if you locked it in, right? If you got in up here, then your world sucks because for the last month and a half, it's gone down. But it's only been a month and a half. What happened prior to this rally? We had this decline right here. Again, 78.5%, right? What do we have before that? We had this rally. Another 600%. Prior to that, we had this decline here, 75%. But prior to that, right here, at the bear market low area in November of 22, right? The first rally, 320%, 600 somewhat percent, 400 somewhat percent rallies. The way you feel about the market tends, because you're going to be emotional because you haven't figured that part out yet. Well, what I've been talking about with emotions, yeah. You're going to be emotionally locked into where you bought in. But logically, since the bear market low, FTM rallied 804%, even with the pullbacks along the way. Yeah, there's a bit of a pullback here. But to say that you're just waiting for alt season and you're not doing any, maybe you're not doing any trading at all. You're just like, oh, when's alt season to get here so I can make money, right? You've missed opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to make 300, 600, 400% on this one coin. And by the way, I'm not over here just cherry picking this. I'm trying to show you multiple charts here, right? Let's look at SUI here. August of 24 to January to just over a month ago. SUI rallied over 1,000%. But I see nothing but whining on it because it's down in the last month and a half, almost a month and a half, not quite a month and a half, because it's down 55%. Do you see why I don't have a lot of sympathy? I don't. If you jumped in at the top because you didn't know what the hell you were doing, and now you're crying because it's down because you didn't go out because, again, you didn't know what you were doing, I don't have a lot of sympathy for you. Now, that doesn't mean I hate you or I think you're stupid or anything like that. Not at all. I'm just putting it out there because a lot of people are out there acting like we should have sympathy for them. Why should we have sympathy for them? Why should we have sympathy? They're adults using their hard-earned money, not respecting it, just jumping in, just aping in at the top, not understanding what they're doing, and then holding on while it continues to drop lower and lower and lower because, again, they don't know what they're doing, and they're upset about it. And now I understand. I can understand being upset. I was there 30 years ago, 28 years ago. I was doing those same damn things first few years. So I understand. It sucks. It does suck. But to expect sympathy from people, it's a little odd, right? It's a little funny, right? Let's look at some more charts. Again, I told you I was going to show you why this is all craziness, right? These things we're talking about, these things we're doing. Let me see here. I don't know. Let's look at mine here. We'll just look at these charts, right? This is the week here. So I don't know what I'm pulling up here, but look at this. This one to December of 2023 down to a low here in August of 24 Swing high up here, right? In December of 24, down to a low here, just over a month later, January 25, right? You can say, oh God, I'm down from here this little bit. It really is just a little bit over the grand scheme of things, right? You could say, oh my God, we were down all the way over here. That was a big bit more down. But you're ignoring the fact that we were up this high to begin with. This is a pullback. Even if you came in this area, we're still up that high. This is a pullback. But you're anchored emotionally to where you may be bought in. Or over here, maybe you bought in here. Or maybe you bought in right here, pull back, right? You're emotionally anchored to where you bought in. Okay? But you have to, you're never going to be able to get beyond this until you step back and you stop, cover your ears going, no, I'm not listening. Until you stop doing that and accept what's going on and the position you're putting yourself in, you're going to continue to stay emotionally attached to wherever you buy in. And you're not going to learn how to trade properly. You're not going to learn what proper risk management is. And even when you learn it, you're not going to sit here and do it consistently. It's not enough just to know, what proper risk management is, but you have to employ it every single trade. It takes one trade to wipe you out. One trade without proper risk management to wipe you out. Let me see here. What other one? Let's just kind of jump in here. We'll see. Let's jump to the other end. Let's see the big losers here today. LIT here. This is effectively sideways since December of 22, guys. We're up, a little bit lower, a little bit higher, a little bit lower, up near the top, near the low. This is sideways for a few years. But if you're just buying in because you're FOMOing in near these tops, and then you're holding as they continue to pull back way back, you don't know what you're doing. You need to learn what you're doing. Okay? You need to learn. Learn it somewhere. I think the best place you can learn it, obviously, is with us at TexasWestCapital.com, right? But, my God, if you can't, if you just don't like my beard, or you don't like the way my voice sounds, or you think I'm making fun of you, or whatever it is, I can't change however you're feeling. But even if that's the case, find somewhere that you can do it. And here's the other thing, guys. Stop trying to get everything for free online. I have on this show so many times over the last 7 years, 7+ years, I guess now, I've sat here and I've shown you the half-truths and the outright lies that are on there when it comes to trading that are for free out there. I've brought them up and talked to you about them and why they're half-truths or outright lies, why they're going to hurt you more than they'll ever help you. If you want to learn something quicker and better, pay to learn it. I'm not saying you can't learn for free, but very few people in trading can learn for free. Learn for free, right? Because there's so much bad information out there. Let me see here. That's right. A beard is legendary and Morgan Freeman's jealous of your voice. That's why we watch. No, he's not. But he's got a great voice. He's got a very commanding voice. Morgan Freeman. I love it. This is the right way to think about it, guys. Whether it's trading or anything else that you want to learn in life, you can't think of your payment as a payment, right? As just a payment. Think of it as an investment. And because when you think of it as an investment, what that means is when you really think of it that way, you're going to put more effort into paying attention and practicing properly and doing those things. Remember, I tell you guys, to be a trader takes focus, discipline, consistency, commitment, patience, right? Those things are all required. Not some of them, not one of them, all of them are required. But it's not just trading. It's with anything that you want to learn. Learning to trade is no different than learning to snowboard or learning to play the piano or learning to paint. It's no different. It's just a skill set you're learning. I see people, they say, one of the things I talk about is when you're first learning to trade, use a paper account. And we get a lot of very unknowledgeable people, very inconsistent traders saying, oh, well, that's not right? Because they've been told this and it seems to make sense. Well, paper accounts aren't good because you don't get the emotional thing, right? And that's the biggest part of trading, is that emotional thing. And so you're not going to be as emotional with the paper account. The paper account isn't about handling your emotions. It's about going through the steps of the system that you are using to trade. It's making sure that you're following the steps and following whatever guidelines are in that trading strategy or that trading system or that trading method, and that you can do it over and over again without having to really think about it, that you understand it. That's what the paper trading account is for. It's not there to help you train your emotions or not to have emotions. You're always going to have emotions. You have to develop a plan to deal with your emotions. But a paper account, a paper trading account, is absolutely imperative to learn to practice properly and correctly whatever method or system of trading that you're using. It's the ability to look at the chart and go, okay, the stop loss should go here because of ABC reason. And my entry should go here because of XYZ reason. And my take profit should go up here because of this reason. All according to my system, my strategy, my methods, rules, and guidelines. Builds muscle memory. Here's the thing. If you can build muscle memory, you're less likely to allow your emotions to overrun what you know you need to do. It's still going to be tough, and you still have to have a plan in place to deal with those emotions. You still have to understand what triggers the emotions and to notice when those emotions are coming up in you so you don't allow them to take over. But trading a paper account has absolutely nothing to do with your emotional state. And because it doesn't mean it's not effective. Emotions are a whole separate part of the trading thing. But if you don't even have your system down and practiced properly over and over again 1,000 times, right? Well, it doesn't matter what your emotions are because you're not going to be able to do it anyway. Does that make sense? Fibaswani says paper trading is like a flight simulator for your money. Crash all you want, no real bruises, just lessons. See, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? What is that? No So Trade, which I met you in 2016. I wasn't really public until about 2017. So you would have met me in my when I was just trading on my own and just going through law school at the time in 2016. Yeah, this is, these are the things, these things I'm talking about today, these are the real things that will determine your success or not as a trader. A lot of times y'all will get out there and you'll learn one system, right? Or one strategy or one method. And then you won't become good at it, but you'll skip on to another one. And then you skip on to another one. And then you skip on to another one. And all you really needed to do is buckle down and really focus and practice properly on the first one. That was the key. But you bounce around, right? I did the same thing, guys. I did the same thing at first. A lot of bouncing around. I thought, man, I wasn't really trying. I'll be honest with you. Like a lot of you, I wasn't really trying. I lie and say I was, but I wasn't. I knew I wasn't. And so I just go on to the next one. Oh, that one doesn't work. Go on to the next one. That one doesn't work. It wasn't that they weren't working necessarily, but it was definitely that I wasn't working. It was my fault. I'm not saying every one of those systems is going to work or would have worked, but I'm saying I know without a doubt, that I screwed myself because I wasn't doing the things I needed to do, and I was lying about it to myself and anybody else that would listen because it made me feel better. Does that make sense? Christopher Campbell says, I remember when the channel started, bear market of 2018 was rough. Yeah, that was it's a bit way to begin, right? I came out, I think February of 2018 was the first stream. And then as I was doing them, Scott Melker was telling me, man, you need to show your face. He was the one telling me, hey, you need to do the videos on YouTube. So I started doing them, and I didn't have my face on there. I didn't have a camera doing it. And he goes, you need to get your face on there, man. It took me a little bit, and then I finally did that. I've been doing it ever since, right? But those of you that haven't heard the story, that's how it began. It's pushing by a lot of what I do today was pushed by Scott Melker back in the day. Because for me, it was just all about going out there, trying to teach what I know, and just kind of put my head down and do it, right? And he's like, no, you got to do it this way. You got to do it that way. And it took, a few years of getting in here to figure out what's the best way to teach. What is it exactly that I want to teach, right? Because I had so much information in my head. How did I want to put that together in a way that makes sense? And it took a few years to really kind of get it down. But today, we focus on how and why do markets move the way they do. And we use Elliott Wave, and we use Wyckoff, and we use price action. We teach all those things to you, but we teach them as tools to help you understand how the market moves, why it does the same thing over and over again, that the market is forecastable, that it is repetitious, because human beings are. And because of that, we can forecast targets. We can understand price movement. Doesn't mean we're always going to get it right. We're still human beings, right? We can still jump in a bit early, jump in a bit late, right? Get it figured out. So yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, let's leave a few more here. Honey. Let's go on with Honey here. Weekly. Look at that daily. Good pop up, big push back down. Look at the volume there. Um, 15-minute. I mean, you got a big move, you got a big low volume node, easy to dump into it, bounce up, and then fall through. Rejected there, again, we just want to overcome this area here. But, again, with even if we step out of here and we go, okay, well, the pullback for Honey has been most recently from December. Now, Honey is one of those alts that has made new all-time lows here, as you can see. Not all of them have. Not a lot of them haven't. Okay? But if all you're doing is if you're chasing low cap crap because it's low cap and you think, one, I can own a whole bunch of them so I feel rich, and two, when it pumps, I'm going to be so rich, because you're assuming it's going to, right? If those are your reasons for entering, you can expect to lose your money most of the time. That's the reality of the situation. Okay? What's up, Tillman? Look at Tillman. Doesn't he look good? He updated his profile picture there on Twitter. He's looking all dapper. Those of you that don't know, Tillman is one of the co-hosts with me there, and his business partner, Andrew, on Wednesdays on Beards and Bitcoin. And, man, we have so much fun doing that, guys. I can't tell you how much, seriously. If you can't see it, if you've tuned in and you don't see the real joy we have in doing that, I don't know what to tell you. We have so much fun with it, seriously. And we really enjoy y'all showing up for that. So if you don't know about it, we talk about Bitcoin, but not from a price point usually. We don't even bring up Bitcoin charts usually. What we do is we talk about here's what's going on in the world of Bitcoin. What does Bitcoin being, as it's become to this point, it's become today, and it starts being integrated into the global financial system, what does that mean for you? How can you take advantage of that? What should you be looking at? All these things. And we give our ideas of stuff, going on with that. So hopefully you guys join in on that. It's so much fun. We really enjoy it. Let me see here. Is the hashtag bearded Cardone trending yet? We need to get it trending. Yeah, those of you that might have seen last Wednesday, Gary Cardone showed up and said in the comments toward the end of the show, and said he was going to grow a beard and he'd join us in 3 weeks. And then Andrew made some comment about smelliness, and Cardone was like, "No, never mind." And I said, "Man, we needed to get the hashtag bearded Cardone trending to do that." So Sandy is here. Sandy has been around since the beginning as well. What a journey. Most stable part of crypto is Chris. I appreciate that. Yeah. Some of y'all I do know. Y'all been here since day one or pretty close to it. And I appreciate y'all. You've seen the evolution. You've seen how we've refined what we do and how we go about it. Always with the intent of making it better for you, right? But again, looking at other, look around the zero here, right? Pax. No, I'm kidding, because Pax is a stable coin, folks. INV USD, right? Again, look at this. December pullback here, right? But look at the rally from September to December. But Chris, look at the pullback from March to September. Yeah. So far, that's the all-time low there. But if you're whining about this pullback without recognizing this rally, one, I have to assume that you're not zooming out, that you can see that, and or two, that you don't understand that what we're having is a pullback of that larger movement. And again, if you bought up here, at these top areas because you FOMO'd in, you didn't know what you were doing. And if you held on while it made this bigger pullback, instead of getting out, because you were just trying to trade it to get some movement up, you weren't planning on holding it for a year. So now this all of a sudden hurts, because obviously if you're thinking about holding, if you got up here and you were thinking about holding for a year or two, this pullback is nothing. You shouldn't even be concerned about that at all. You shouldn't be looking at it. But if you got up here thinking you were going to go flat out right away, and it didn't, again, you have nobody to blame but yourself. Okay? But once again, I'm not saying that to make you feel bad. I'm not saying that to make fun of you. I'm saying that so that you're maybe listening to me right now at this point in time, and you're going, all right, yeah, I get it. I made that mistake. It is on me. Now I need to think back and go, why did I get in there? Why did I do that? Why didn't I get out, at this place or that place along the way? Because those are the steps you need to start taking to get better, right? You cannot move forward if you don't acknowledge your mistakes and then change them. You can't just acknowledge that you had them. You have to acknowledge that you made mistakes and where they're at, and you have to change what you do next time. If you don't do one part of all of that, just one part, if you don't do just one part, it won't matter that you did the rest of it. You have to do all those steps. It's the only way that you can advance, that you can grow, that you can get better. Does that make sense? Again, we can pick any dang chart in here. Again, we made we swept the low, the August low. August low. It's not even 6 months ago, right? August low to December high, swept that August low with the February low, but pay attention. Overall, we're trending up from June of 22. We already made this huge move up before we made this bit of a pullback. Zoom out to the bigger picture. They're moving the head higher. Don't get focused. Don't get so blinded by the immediacy of what's around you that you miss the forest for the trees. Does that make sense? So how many times can I get remarried and still be correct? Never. First of all, you have to believe that marriage is the correct thing, right? But again, so we keep looking at these charts, right? And the charts just keep showing you what I'm talking about, right? Some made a new low, right? Some are nearing that August-September low, right? Many have had a big movement up and just a slight pullback in the grand scheme of things, riding up higher. But if you don't know what you're doing, if you're in the market and you don't know what you're doing, it's the end of the world to you when you buy at the top and price drops down and you don't get out of it and you hold it while it continues to drop. Thanks, Alvin. Right? I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, look at this. This is the weekly for Flow USD, right? Everything else aside here, this is 3 waves down. So from a macro picture of it, if we rally from here and break out above that swing high at 85 cents, that locks this in as 3 waves, which makes it corrective. So we should be looking for further upside. I mean, that's just a real quick look at that and understanding of what's going on there that we know from Elliott wave. Now, obviously, I'm oversimplifying it, right? But a 3-wave pullback, okay? 3 waves is corrective. So if you break out above that second wave, it locks it in 3 waves. Why? Because you can't make another wave further down. If you've got 1, 2, 3 waves down and you break back out above this, well, you've got 1, 2, 3, and now you're up higher. So you can't make a 5th wave down. That 4th wave can't break out above here. It would have to be like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But if you're breaking out above that second wave, that's corrective. But see, it's little things like that you can pick up from Elliott wave. And you don't even have to trade Elliott wave religiously, but just an understanding of what a trend is and what a correction is. And that corrections have ways that they look, and they have guidelines as far as levels that they pull back. Just understanding those things will set you just eons above most traders. And yet we still have people out there saying, oh, Elliott wave is so stupid because you can make it say whatever you want. You can make anything say whatever you want, folks. You can make statistics say what you want. Well, how do we know? Because there's a book out there said How to Lie with Numbers, talking about how to make statistics say what you want them to say. We know. We know. But if you do something, you adhere to the rules and guidelines of whatever it is that you're doing, the odds of you making it say whatever you want it to say are much less. In the same way that understanding what triggers your emotions and then having a plan in place to deal with those emotions when they happen can reduce the odds of you emotionally reacting to something. Right? Does any of this make sense? Now, let me know if this is making sense or if I'm just wasting my breath here. It was important for me to do this stream today because of all the crying and the whining and the genuine feeling of distress that alt season isn't here and that it's not coming. But at the end of the day, it doesn't have to. You've had opportunities to make ridiculous amounts of money, guys. From this swing low over here in September of 23 to that swing high, that was 333% here on flow. You had a chance to make that. You had a chance to make this rally here, 185, 186%. You're probably going to have something like this coming up. Chance to make 700%. But for most of the people that watch this video, they watch this stream, they're not going to understand what I'm saying. They're going to fight it. They're going to fight it. But you don't want to fight the things that you should be listening to, right? And that's the hardest part. I don't even know some of these. Here's another one. Look at the craziness on this ANKR USD here, right? We had this March 20th pandemic low down here. This damn thing rallied off that pandemic low. 29,000%. Ultimately, it pulled back about 93%. Then it rallied up again. So you had this opportunity, and this opportunity to make money along the way. Look at these. These are weekly candles, guys. Look at these multiple weekly candles here. You could have gone long here. 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, maybe even a fifth week up before it dropped down and then popped back up. That's a month of upside. Here again, 1, 2, 3, 4, before it really get the pullback in the fifth month or the fifth week. Here again, 1, 2, 3, 4. This one 5, all the way up before we got the pullback. There's a ton of money to be made. Stop waiting for alt season. Learn how to trade. Learn proper risk management. Pay attention to these things I've been talking about this stream with emotions and psychology. And if you would like help with any of that, join us, TexasWestCapital.com. We would absolutely love to have you there, even if just for a month. If $97 made you 500 or 1,000% more effective, and that's all it did, hell, even if it just made you 100% more effective, isn't that worth it? And everybody thinks, oh, $97, oh, it's money I'm going to lose. No, that's money for you to get in there to learn how to, at a better and quicker pace, to learn all these things I'm talking about specifically. And of course, you've been a pretty great group of people as well. I always say our members are the best part of it. They're really great people, Sats and Mark and everybody in there, Frank, Andrew. Of course, Andrew is now head trader with us there, so that works really well. While we're on the topic of alts, would you be able to take a look at Coin, Chris? Coin's not an alt. Coin is a stock chart, right? We're going up higher. Coin's going to hit a new all-time high. So yeah, that's Coinbase. Coinbase just had a blowout, a double beat on earnings the other day. Again, a little pullback here, which maybe is why Jonathan's maybe a little bit concerned because, man, they blew it out so well, yet they pulled back. Well, yeah, that's because, the news really doesn't determine what's going on with price action, right? The best news stuff does is it gives you knee-jerk reactions. Trends are already established. Does that make sense? Let's see here. BTC Nation, what's up? So I started DCAing in November 2021 as Bitcoin was going into a bear market around 44K. Learned a lot by staying consistent and in the market. Yeah. I always tell you guys, listen, even if you're trading, right? Because I'm a trader, that's what I do. But I tell you guys, you should have a bag of Bitcoin that you just don't touch no matter what. Just keep it separate from your other stuff so you're not tempted to pull it out when you lose your money trading, right? Bitcoin's the only way I say with that. I wouldn't say, build that up with anything else, but I'm saying with Bitcoin, definitely. Not financial advice. Do what you need to do, but I think to me, that's what makes most sense for everybody, even if you just have a little bit of money. Because the odds are, if you're getting in trading, and especially if you're not really learning, the odds are you're going to lose all your money if you're not paying attention to the proper risk management and the emotions. You're going to end up losing your trading account. And if you're at least putting a little bit into Bitcoin, and you continue to do that year after year, right? Well, that's going to keep going up over time with Bitcoin. Let me pull up Bitcoin. Talk about it here. Look at that breakout. Nice move. For me, again, I've got this as a 4 here and then a 1, 2, and then I've got a 1, 2 here. So I'm looking for a breakout above this swing high right here. This is the Bitcoin all-time index. So this swing high is around 100,190. It's right there around the daily pivot. If we can break out above that, that should indicate that this as a 1 and a 2 is probably complete and likely correct. And then that gives us, 113,330 initial target, minimum expected target, secondary target of around 118,400 or so. But of course, that's part of this larger 1, 2 here, right? Which has the minimum expected wave 3 of 126,774. So, either this interior stuff is going to extend up there toward that 126,774, right? Or this will end as a 1 and a 2, and the 3, 4, 5 will overextend this up higher to, probably 150 or 155,000. Larger movements up, though. But, overall, still looks good, still looks clean. We've basically got, this large range here that we're trading, as well as this local range right here that we're trying to break out of right now. And so this breakout through this top part of this range right here would be a jump across the creek. And what we're looking for is a spike of volume, which we're getting, large candle spread, which we're getting. We got about another hour and 31 minutes left on this particular 4-hour candle. So we'll see if we can get some some even greater follow through here. But yeah, this right here, again, would be a 1, 2 right here. Minimum expected wave 3 at 101,947, wave 5 at 103,577. If we can, continue to break up further through here, we want to see it coming through that, again, that 100,190 area on that. All right, so, Bitcoin not looking bad either, but, when it comes to alts, guys, most of the issues that you have are 100% you. They're your emotions. They're your lack of proper risk management. They're your lack of doing what you have to do to understand what's going on in the markets, but jumping in anyway. Right? That's what the issue is with alts. It isn't that alt season isn't here. It's that you're not understanding these other things where you could have been making money all along the way here over the last year, 2 years. Multiple coins to show, even coins that were making new lows had nice moves up along the way. You could have been making money on them, on those large bounces, going up hundreds of %. But you're too busy sitting around waiting for alt season, which may or may not come. May or may not come. Maybe it will. But what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't? Are you guys ready to deal with it? Are you going to sit here and just whine about the fact that alt season isn't here yet? And just do that through the end of the cycle, and then it never comes, if it were not to come. And then you missed years of opportunity. Years of opportunity where you could have made money. How much sense does that make? How much sense does that make? If your goal of trading in the markets is to make money, and guess what, guys? If you're in the markets, if you're trading in the market, your goal should be to make money. But if you are, and that's your goal, then you need to start changing the way in which you look at what you're doing. Because as long as you continue to just focus on alt season, you're going to continue to miss the opportunities that are in front of your face. And then you'll get done at the end of the season. You'll be like, at the end of the cycle, you'll be like, oh, there was no alt season, potentially, right? Oh, there was no alt season. I didn't make any money. And the rest of us will be looking at you like, we made money. There's lots of trading to do along the way. We're not even talking about shorting. We're talking about longing. You don't even have to short. Lots of opportunity. Anyway, all right, guys, listen, that's an hour and a half. I'm done. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope at least one of y'all this really reached out there, especially if you're one of those who have been dealing with the alt season isn't here. I'm just sitting around waiting for it, and I'm upset that it's not here yet. Or I'm upset that I bought an alt and it's down 50 or 80% right now. Especially if that's you, I hope this really, really resonated with you. Because it's not over. Your trading career is just beginning. If you listen to what I said and it changes your mindset, you're just beginning. You got an absolutely fantastic time ahead of you. And remember, guys, these skills, these things that you do for trading in alts and trading in crypto and all this stuff, same skills you can use trading precious metals, trading energy, trading futures, trading stocks, whatever you want to do. Okay? All right. As always, remember, the only thing you control is how much you lose. So please keep working on that risk management. If you're in the Trading Academy, one more reminder that in about an hour and a half, in about 2.5 hours, we're going to have our makeup for Monday, our Wyckoff session. So it's an hour-long session. We'll talk about Wyckoff. We'll answer questions, and we'll look at new charts and see if we can find some good trades out of that as well. But even if you can't make it live, of course, you have access to that recording and all the other recordings we've done over the last 3 or 4 years, in the Academy there. And that's not just with Wyckoff, but with Price Action, with Elliott Wave, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of educational content there, in addition to the courses and everything else, guys, plus the 3 live streams every week, plus the Traders Club that you get to be a part of. And you get analysis by myself, Fibbo, Andrew, Vince, different ways of looking at charts, sometimes the same charts and just different ways of looking at them. Andrew does a great job of bringing in a lot of different alts and keeping you guys up to date with that. And yeah, there's just so much for you to do and to learn and to be involved with. Try us out for a month, guys. $97. That's it. $97. TexasWestCapital.com. And if you do, say hi in the chat area. Just at Christopher, and it'll pop up there. Just say hi. I'd love to know that you're there. And we'll do everything we can to help get you started on the right track, guys, even if it is just for a month, okay? BTC Nation says, got to spend money to make money, especially in crypto. Yeah, you got to. I'm just a firm believer, guys. I've done it my entire life. If I want to learn something, I spend money to do it. Because that way I can learn it quicker and better than if I'm trying to do it on my own for free out there. My time is worth money to me. All right? All right, guys. Again, as always, remember the only thing you control is how much you lose. Please keep working on that risk management. I hope you all have an absolutely amazing weekend. I hope you have a great Valentine's Day. Take care, and we will see you next week, all right? Goodbye, everybody.